No. All right. How's everybody doing? Cut that background. All right. Y'all let me know if that gets too loud, will you? Let me know how I'm looking, how I'm sounding. All right. Good evening, friends and neighbors, and welcome back to the Rabun County Rag, where the mountains talk and we listen. Well, it looks like the holidays have come and gone. The decorations are coming down, and Rabun County has settled into that quiet stretch between celebration and resolve. The mornings are cold enough to make you pause, and the evenings are made for firelight, and the woods have that honest stillness that only winter brings. You know, I went walking the other day. Boy, it was cold too. I normally this on a Wednesday I normally cover 2.5, 3 miles, but it was so dadgum cold I cut it in half and I said, don't be a quitter. And I kept going, and I said, man, I'm taking this shortcut and cutting this thing back because it was cold. I think it was 20 degrees, might have been 18 degrees when I made that walk. And I just, I'll go again tomorrow. I got to put some air in the tires. I got them old Falcon tires, I guess they're called. I don't know. I tried to read the PSI on them tonight and had the flashlight out there and everything. That writing's gotten so small on them tires. I don't know. So I think it said 51, but it seems like the tire shop put them at 30. I'll have to go by there tomorrow and see what they say. Anyway, before we settle in, let's remember what binds us together. We're a community of like-minded people with common interest in hunting, fishing, protecting our community, culture, families, and environment. We come here to exchange ideas, resources, and information. So grab a cup, pull up a seat, and let's start the year the right way by paying attention to life in these hills. I think I was in bed by 9:30 last night. I had to get up this morning and do some recording for the other channel, and then I had to end up editing the video, and I did that till about 9 o'clock, and then I went upstairs and got them old black-eyed peas and collard greens going. That took about an hour. And then I came back down and started, coffee give me the belches, and started editing again, and I did that till I think it was 11:30, maybe 12 o'clock, and went back up and checked on the pots. They were bubbling away and smelling real good. Hung out with the wife for a little while. I think I helped her move a chair or something like that. She got the tree down. And then I was back down. I don't even know if I had any lunch. But anyway, I was back down here thereafter and finished editing and getting things together. And then started writing the script for this evening's show. And that took me up till about 2 o'clock. And then I was back upstairs and made some cornbread to go with that, them collard greens and black-eyed peas, and then oven roasted some pork chops. And about 4 o'clock I sat down, and now I'm full as a tick. And here it is 2 hours after that. I was thinking about some dessert, but I couldn't deal with it. I may have to go up when I get done here. Got another busy day tomorrow. How about y'all? Send me a chat and let me know what you got on your agenda tomorrow. I know everything was closed. I hadn't even left the house today, but tomorrow I'll get up and I'll go take me a little walk, maybe take off some trash. And I've got to go to the dadgum bank. Man, I hate going to the bank. Go to the bank, go to the post office, and then come home. And I don't know if I'm going to pay bills tomorrow or Saturday morning, but I need to get that done. That's part of the routine around here. Pay them darn bills. That everything's due. Got to pay for Christmas. Got to pay for gas, car insurance. Shoot. I'm glad I made them beans and cornbread. I'm going to be eating them the rest of the darn month. Anyway, it's time to move on to the hunting, fishing, and trapping report. The deer season. Let's have a late season reality check. We're in the back half of gun season now. We ain't got but about 2 or 3 weeks left. I think it runs through the 11th of January, deer and bear. And this is where discipline separates success from frustration. The rut activity has cooled considerably, but secondary movement is still happening, especially cold, clear mornings, midday cruising between bedding and late food, south facing slopes, warm first. Uh, Best bets right now are the edges of thick cover, oak flats with remaining mast, and funnels near winter food sources. Late season deer aren't careless, but they are hungry. They're hungry. Is getting that time of year of their struggle until we get some fresh sprouts coming up in the spring on the deer. I mean, on the trees and so forth. I was out here when I told you I was checking the tire pressures on that, and I believe old Al took him a squirrel. I didn't hear nothing, but boy, that old squirrel, he let out his death squeal. I tell you what, I tried to spot it and I couldn't, but something got him. Uh, it was it wasn't that mating thing. That was pure death he was making. Something got him. Might have been one of them old cats we got around here. I don't know, but he squealed loud and faded fast. That's about the best way I know how to sum that up. Deer, I mean, the squirrel season, I believe, is still open. Yeah, it says here firearms for deer run through January 11th, as does bear in this part of the country. Rabbit season is open. I was leaving the other morning. It was windier and all get outs. Forgot where I was going. But one of my little old rabbits crossed the driveway as I was pulling out. So I know I still got at least one around here. Small game, I guess that's holding steady. Trapping is open for coyote, fox, bobcat, beaver, muskrat, and mink. This is the management part of the year. So take ethical shots, make clean recoveries, and remember to leave the land better than you found it. Fishing, how's the fishing holding up? Winter fishing requires patience and precision. You just can't be out there slapping the water and expecting something to happen for you. Some of the key principles that I hold to are fishing deep and slow. Troll slowly. Presentation matters more than lure choice. And sun is your ally. Keep the sun at your back. Some of the effective approaches is deep nymph rigs and slower pools or ponds. Just let them things drift real slow. Give them a little twitch occasionally. I do. Some people do it another way. Go for small jigs and micro streamers. Give them long pauses. Let the fly just sit and drift in that scene. There's some local there's a couple of them I want to get to around here. Tallulah River, some of the deep bends. I walked that Tallulah River where it runs into Tallulah Falls there, and I've been meaning to get over there, take a rod with me and work that a little bit and see what I can come up with. Water might be carrying some browns this time of year, but it's normally down in the lower stretches, and I figure it's getting a little warm for trout. I don't know. If you fish that area, let me know how you do it. Let me know what your luck is down there. Of course, there's the old standby over there at Chattooga, I should say. The Burton Tailwaters. I've been there and I've fished there, but it looks awful busy. It looks like a lot of private property on that. So if you fish that Burton Tailwaters, let me know below the dam there. Let me know how that fishing is, where you can get in there. Some public property on the other side of what is that road there? Burton Dam Road. Let me know what is happening over there. Of course, there's Sarah's Creek on a Sunday afternoon. I hadn't fished Sarah's Creek in a long while. I need to get up there and check that out. Cold weather doesn't really shut the fishing down. It just demands respect. I got some flies right here. I've been meaning to put those in my truck. They're nymphs. I don't know that you can see them. I can try and change cameras and see if you can get them in that. Let's see. Well, I can't do no transition. Well, yeah, I can. I go over here. Let's see what I can make happen. Let's see if that. Uh-oh. Yeah. Get this stuff centered up. Y'all excuse my little screen things there. There we go. This old cuff I made. I've shown it before. It's got some flies on there. I don't know if it's a focus for us, but anyway, I made that cuff. I made the cuff with just that emblem on there, and I didn't like the way it turned out, the colors. So I just took a piece of old sheepskin and glued it on there, and I'll wear it when I'm fishing, and let the flies dry on it. So that's how that is. Let me get this thing back where it was. It's looking all kind of silly. See Pleuroporia and my old skeleton there. Anyway, Raven County Rag, y'all let me know how you doing. Let's go back to that other view. Show my fat belly there. I've done pretty good over the holiday, talking about fat bellies. I did, I was out for a while and I missed a few of the live streams because I was on a job site about a month down in the heart of the beast down there in Atlanta. I think I even broadcast one of these shows from down there. Man, it was cold then too. And I was working I was kind of in an administrative position. I'd walk around, but I wasn't putting in an effort enough to stay warm. Brother, I was cold most of the time. And stayed cold the whole time. And I got in the evenings. That cold weather will wear you out, boy. I'm telling you. Anyway, that was just a side note. Whether you're at work or whether you're hunting, you really need to be aware of how the weather can affect you. I noticed when I was working in that building, and it was in the 20s one morning, and then it stayed consistently in the 30s for a while. And boy, old computer run good in that cold air, but I didn't. But I was dropping stuff. I couldn't keep track of stuff, and it made me wonder whether I was experiencing some hypothermia. And I'd get up and walk around and check on the guys and making sure they weren't behaving funny. And we talked about it on a pretty regular basis too. That cold weather, whether you're at work or you're hunting, boys and girls, look out for that cold weather. As a reminder, as we head deeper into winter, the old hypothermia does not require snow. We had a couple days it was cold in the upper 30s there in Atlanta. And if I were at home, I'd have probably been in the house, but I didn't have that. And windy, boy, it was windy, cold, and rainy. And I saw some people walking around, had their hand warmers, and I was thinking, well, that's a good idea, but they got it. And we talked about keeping the head covered. It's hard to keep your head covered when you're wearing a hard hat. If you're watching this, let me know. Give me some feedback on what you do to stay warm, either at work or when you're hunting. There's a lot of people out there, handymen and stuff like that are having to stay with it in this cold weather. God bless them and God thank them for being out there. There's an old saying out there. It says cold hands make poor decisions, and I believe that. Like I said, I was dropping stuff, and it made me wonder about a lot of things. And I stuck with her and I got out there and exercised and led the exercise and get everybody warmed up in the mornings. And it was quite a. Make sure you carry a dry layer. I had a pair of socks I never did have to call them into use. I thought I was going to have to. Man, I got some leaky boots. Doggone. Uh, I need to get me a new pair of boots. Y'all, somebody send me a chat and let me know where I might find me some boots. What is that sticking out of that microphone right there? I wonder if I messed something up. It's tore or something. Oh, well. You know, you pay all kinds of money for these microphones, and what do you get? Another day older and deeper in debt. Bum, 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 bum. Anyway, that's about the extent of my entertainment business right there. Make sure you get some hand warmers if you're out there in the field hunting. It's nice. Son-in-law said he got some of them electric socks. He says that makes a world of difference. I didn't tell him I had a guy short something out one time, got kind of hot-footed on him. But I have seen electric jackets. A guy walked up and he had a little red light glowing right there. I said, man, what's going on there? And he showed me that thing was lined with it, and it took them old, I forgot whether it was DeWalt or Milwaukee batteries. I said, boy, how long does that last? And I don't remember, but it didn't seem very effective. But it was cool. Also, think about your phone. Even when I go for a walk in the morning, I keep my phone in an inside shirt under the two outer layers to try and keep it warm. You get in a situation out there and it's cold, your phone may fail. So make sure you keep an eye on that battery life out there and try and keep that battery warm. Same way with my camera. If I don't keep an eye on that thing will I put a fresh battery in, and if it's 18 or 20 degrees, after about an hour of walking, that old battery's down to about 25%. And then you take a couple shots, couple photos, and that old thing's flashing. And I carry an extra battery, but I learned not to keep it in an outside pocket, but to keep it in a pants pocket or something where it stays next to something a little warmer than the exterior, so it stays up there at the 30 to 40 degree range. But anyway, those are some considerations. Also, don't forget a flashlight or a headlamp, because it does get dark early and it gets dark quick depending on what side of the mountain you're on. But make sure you're taking care of yourself and got those things taken care of. The old wisdom still applies. If you're uncomfortable, you're already behind. Go noodle that one out. Speaking of weather, it looks like the seasonal weather outlook is that Rabun County is settling into a true winter pattern. Boy, we've had some sharp cold snaps. And, yesterday and the day before, it was kind of cool out there. Like I said, I think I went yesterday, and I believe it was in the 20s when I went for a walk. Made me cold enough to cut that walk a little short. And then today, I think it got up into the 50s. So it's a kind of a up and down thing. A sharp cold snaps with short warm-ups. We may see some snow in the higher elevations later on in the year. It's no kind of panic weather in front of us. Not that I see. We could check the weather real quick. Any of y'all read the Farmer's Almanac? I'd like to know what's going on and what the Farmer's Almanac says. They say they don't print the Farmer's Almanac anymore. They say the only way you can get it is online. I don't know. I sure would like to know. Let me see. Oh, man. Let's see. All right, 10-day forecast is tomorrow's going to be rather comfortable. So it looks like mostly cloudy tomorrow with some possibility of rain on Saturday, low of 39, high of 52. and then 57 on Sunday, and then down to 50 and back to 60 on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and we got rain coming in probably maybe a week from now on Friday. So there's your weekly forecast. Best old Bubba can give it to you. Brought to you by Weatherbug on the old smartphone. Like I said, if you've got the old Farmer's Almanac, I'd sure like to hear what it says. Anyway, some of the things to keep in mind is make sure your firewood stays dry. Put a tarp over it, stack some branches over it. I've seen all kinds of things, and make sure your tires are ready. I think I said that already. I need to go by the shop tomorrow and see what they recommend for tire pressure on that darn old truck of mine. Make sure I get it right. And do you have a blanket in your truck? I can see mine. I can pull it out from the passenger side. It's in the back seat under the seat, and it's real close, so I can grab it if I need to. So make sure you got a blanket, and I keep water. I keep probably, I reuse them old liter bottles I get at the grocery store. When I used to get the old soda water, I'd get them in liter bottles that cost $1, or get a soda water. Well, I quit drinking that old soda water. And how I just fill them up with well water and keep them in the truck. And I keep 6 of those things plus one in the front that I drink from. I have pretty good rotation. And when I get down to, where I've only got 1 or 2 full, I'll take the time to fill them up. But you need to keep some kind of water in your truck. Stay hydrated. Remember, winter don't ask permission. It just arrives, and it can come in a hurry. Like that windstorm, man, we had that blew that cold front in on Wednesday. Man, that wind blew Monday night all day, Tuesday, and I think Monday morning when I went for a walk, it was 52 degrees, and by that afternoon, it was in the 40s. That night in the 30s, and Wednesday morning it was in the 20s. So, them folks up north, they got a real pounding with that cold weather. Anyway, I'd like to know about your cold weather preparations. What do you do? Are you ready for when the power goes out? I've got some auxiliary gas heating in the house, but I don't know if it does a very good job or not. I guess I got one of them houses with I don't know. It's in the living area. It's one of them great big old tall ceilings. Man, it's a huge old thing. It's a high peak in that thing. It's you can look in. There's a walkway or whatever the thing is called between the bedrooms up there, a walkway, and you can look up there and you still got it's way up there. And I keep thinking I need to string up something, some kind of lines or something to. If it got real bad and we were to lose power in an ice storm or something, I'd like to be able to trap the heat. And I'm thinking I could maybe come up with some idea of stringing a tarp or a canvas or something and stretch across that part of the living room. And then that gas heater wouldn't have to work as hard. I don't know if the pipes upstairs would freeze or not. I guess I'd have to figure something out from that. But anyway, let me know what you do to prepare for your winter. I almost bought a house way up there on the Tallulah River, up there at Tate City one time, and they were prepared, buddy. They had gas lights, auxiliary heaters, and auxiliary gas lights above where all the heaters were throughout the house. They'd have the minimum amount of light. And I thought, and now that I look on it, man, I sure wish we'd have got that thing. I just didn't want to spend the money. And then ended up spending just as much on this darn place, I tell you. I don't think my wife wanted to live 8 miles up a dirt road into Tate City. I would have. Anyway, anywho, I'm happy where I'm at because I'm closer to more streams. If I lived up there, they'd just been the Tallulah, and I have to drive a lot further to some of these other streams. So I won. I'm happy. Uh, anyway, moving along here. Raven County History and Culture segment. I've got this thing broke up, and I'd like to talk about different aspects. You know, we just covered hunting and fishing, and we just covered the weather forecast, the upcoming hunting seasons, fishing tactics, hunting tactics, and things like that. Now it's, kind of a history and cultural thing, and I like to keep it to Raven County. If you've got a interesting historical thing about Raven County, please send me a chat so that we can talk about it. I want to share how important our culture is, and the way that people who've been here all their lives. I've only been here 10 years, but like I said in the past, I've been coming up here since the 70s. I remember being lost on Lake Burton at night because there weren't no lights. There were a few cabins, but there weren't no mansions on the lake. And man, I guess that's why I'm here. I dreamed about that when I was getting ready to buy up here, and I realized that they would have built it up, but man, I just couldn't help myself. And I'm glad I'm here, and I'm making friends and acquaintances, and I'm really enjoying it. All right. Did I tell you what happened? This is a side note before we get in. This is maybe a cultural thing. So, Christmas is coming, and, I had to close out some quarterly stuff, and I always give my tithes. I'm not bashful about that. I give my tithes. And I had to get this money out the door before the end of the year, and for third quarter or fourth quarter expenses. And I was looking, because I don't know if I told this or not, but I was sitting there thinking about what I could do. And instead of seeing children with the bright, warm memories of Christmas, I saw children that were hungry. Their bellies were full, and they had no anticipation of the Christmas spirit in their hearts. And it weighed heavily upon me. And I went through, and I was trying to find somewhere to make a contribution that could help the children, do something for children. And I was failing miserably, and I'll tell you why. It seems like everything I looked up, when I looked up their books, their administrative costs were 60, 70, 80% of the money went to administrative fees, salaries, advertisement, and things like that. And I saw one that was as much as 90%. So that means that if I gave $100, 10% of it, $10, was going to help some child somewhere. And I got frustrated. So I don't know if I should mention the church or not. But a church I've given to regularly up here, I don't attend, I just give. And I sent them that contribution. And in the notes, I said I was trying to find something for specifically for children. I kind of failed. So I'm giving it to you. Perhaps some children that are in need or that could receive some Christmas spirit with this contribution. Well, the next day, I get an email from the pastor of that church, and he said, I was informed of your contribution, and I wanted to write you and let you know that I was in, I can't remember whether it was in West Virginia or Kentucky. And they had just given out 1,500 what they called Christmas backpacks. And in those Christmas backpacks, there was food, clothing, and an age appropriate gift. And it almost brought, it filled my heart so much that it almost brought tears. Now, it may have, I might have wiped away one or two, but here's the point. God put that on me. And kind of remind me of the story Moses made me. And he put it on me, and I worked hard, and I thought I'd failed, and I finally gave up and just gave it to a church that I'd given to before, and then that message came across. And I wrote the pastor back, and I told him about me trying to do it in failure and how amazed I was that God's will had been done. Anyway, that is my Christmas story. My Christmas story. So anyway, tell me your Christmas story. Let me know something that happened amazing in your world over the Christmas holidays. Anyway, Rabun County, winter wasn't an off season. Before electric heat and grocery stores, winter was a test of planning. People did things like smoked meat, repaired tools, told story, and learned patience. Winter sharpened judgment, and that lesson still applies, just in different ways. In the wintertime here, I'm down in the man cave, and I do have some things I need to take care of here in this man cave. I've done a little work in the studio, done a little work in the office, and spring planning is not a part of it right now. I do need to clean up the landscape in a couple places and do some other things out there. But now's the time. I've got some new LED lights that I got off a job site. These are those drop-in lights for drop ceiling. I don't have drop ceiling, but I've got one of those, still got one of those 8-foot, what do you call those things? Fluorescent lights in the pantry. You walk in there and turn on the light, that thing goes brrrr. I had them all in the basement. I finally got rid of them except in the pantry and replaced them with LED to make the house a little more efficient. So yeah, and I got to get the shop cleaned up. You know how it is, men, maybe some of the ladies too. You get started in a project, you fix something, and then all of a sudden all you got is a pile of tools left out on your workbench. And I went to do something the other day, and I had to clean the darn thing off where I could do what I was wanting to do. I didn't accomplish anything, but I still took something apart and put it back together because I didn't have any adjustments on it. But yeah, so I got to do that. And the lawnmower, I got to service that lawnmower. That thing is, what do you call it when it revs up and falls back, revs up and falls back? I need to clean the carb or something. There's something I got to diagnose what's causing that. I got to service the tractor, put some hydraulic in it. It's got a couple hundred hours. Probably need to change out the hydraulic. I think you only got to do that every 300 hours though. Probably need to change the oil. I've got the book on it, the maintenance book, but I do need to get some stuff and grease it. I greased it. I don't really put a lot of work on that thing. And I check the zerts and I make sure that there's grease flushed out, that I'm not backwashing any dirt into it when I'm out there. So I'll get that thing greased and top off the hydraulics, check the hours and see if I need to change the hydraulics, change the engine oil. And all the tools I used last year, I've got them in a pile out here in the shop. I need to clean the handles and put fresh coat of boiled linseed oil on them, keep them supple, keep them from falling apart. So yeah, we got things to do, and then before you know it, February will be here, and I'll have to start thinking about uh, getting the seedlings starting. I got to do some better planning on that. I get overexcited about things and plant too many of them and overcrowd the garden. I think that, but nobody I talked to last year had a good garden, and that's another thing I need to start putting into uh, this script every week. Have a gardening tip. I'd love to have a gardening section. So if you're scrolling past and you see this thing and you want to start a conversation about winter preparation or garden cleanup and getting ready for the spring, I would love to have a portion of this show dedicated to that. So there we go. But the point is, winter sharpened judgment, and the lesson still applies, just in different ways. Like to cover some of the local stuff, local events and community notes. Some of it may or may not have any impact on you. If you know of a local activity or something you'd like to get out there, maybe you're involved in an organization, you'd like to get something out there, man, I sure would like to hear from you. I got this darn thing hanging off this darn microphone, agitating the fool. There it is. Is that? Oh, that's a string. What is that? It's inspected by or something. I thought it was a part of the microphone. It's just a tag. Anyway, Rabun County enters 2026 with community organizations finishing strong. I like community organizations, but with the news coming out of Minnesota, I don't know if I like them as much as I used to. We better keep a sharp eye on some of that stuff. That's our responsibility. You know that. As citizens of this county, state, and federal government, we got to make sure these people take care of our tax money and not spending it in some foolish way. Good Lord, if what they say about Minnesota is true, that is terrible. At least $9 billion, maybe $18 billion. If you know any more about that than I do, let me know. Apparently, some bunch of people, they say it's some ethnic group, but I ain't concerned about that as much as I am the culture that allows that kind of thing to happen. For them to spend that much money and just stealing it under the pretense of taking care of children. They have one that it's called the Learning Center, and they'd even spelled it wrong. It was called the Leering Center. The Leering Center? Are you kidding me? How appropriate is that? They're leering at us as they're taking this money from us. That I know you work hard and I work hard, and they take the money. They don't ask for it. It's not like your church where your heart burdens you to give. They take it at the point of a gun. Don't pay your taxes and see what happens. They will come take you to jail. Well, I've reached an age that going to jail for tax evasion or something like that might not be that bad a deal. 2 squares, I think my wife said 2 squares in a cot. You can get educated. You got all kinds of other privileges that you might have right here. I don't know if they'll let me live stream from the pokey or not while I'm in there on tax evasion or not. I don't know. But I wouldn't have to work. And then I'll be getting your money, your tax-paying money, to float my fat ass sitting in the jailhouse. Let's move on. I don't know how I went. But the schools are investing in the future. and volunteers quietly doing the work. The New Year's doesn't reset character, it reveals it. And Rabun County looks solid. Let's talk about that. You know, people make New Year's resolutions all the time. What is your New Year's resolution? I tell you what mine is. Mine is to keep doing this Rabun County rag every Thursday night as a minimum. And if I can get other people to participate, come in here and visit with me and build a strong community and talk about things that mean the most to us and build our community for our people without having government intervention. There's nothing wrong with government intervention. I'm not opposed to that at all. But them folks don't know who does or doesn't need help around here. Anybody can fill out some paperwork, and I haven't met too many of them government officials that are enthusiastic about their work. You fill out the paperwork and become, versed well enough where you can get it. I know you can. PPE money, all that crazy stuff that was given away. It don't matter to me really. It just upsets me that they take it. Anyway, let's think about what we're going to do to improve ourselves and our community in this upcoming year. I've talked so much about getting involved with the Foxfire or getting involved with the Rabun County Heritage Society or whatever it is, Historical Society. And I've kind of not done that. I need to make myself a note and get into that. If you're a part of any of those organizations, the Rabun County Historical Society, and you could use my talents and my equipment, I would love to get in there and record some history, maybe post it on YouTube and share it with the community and reveal some of the things about what is that? Why is that poking up there? That son of a gun. That's that overhead that I've been working with. And now all of a sudden it's back in the screenshot. It's like it's drooping down on me. I don't understand this stuff. Let's see, I'll show you. This is an overhead mic, and I'm trying to get it where it's just out of frame. And I get it set, and something changes. Either the camera, I don't know. But anyway, let's see how that sounds. Let me turn. How about that? Yeah, hear it? Yeah, see, that sounds a little different. It doesn't sound as deep. I like this mic right here, but I'm working on it. Y'all tell me which one sounds better. Personally, I like this sound. But anyway, that's where we're at. I can't believe that thing is back into picture frame. I worked on that and worked on that today, and now it's back in there. Anyway, where are we at? We're running out of time is where we're at. It's 6:45. How do you know it's winter in Rabun? Because a dog refuses to go outside, but still wants you to. All right. Late season deer hunting is just hiking with hope. I need to ask my son-in-law. I need to see. Anyway, what's your New Year's resolution? I want to know. I'm besides losing weight. We all want to lose weight. Hell, I need to lose weight more than anybody, and sometimes I get tired of struggling with it. They want to put me. I'm not gonna talk about who the doctor is. A couple of them want to put me on that new stuff, them GLP things, where you get a shot in your belly and it makes you lose your appetite. That's fine. That's fine. But what that really says about me is I lack self-discipline. If I worked on self-discipline a lot more, I might be a little thinner. So, should my New Year's resolution be to lose weight or work on my self-discipline? More exercise, eat less, eat better, that kind of thing. I think that's the way I need to go. And it is a new year. I was going to have dessert. I forgot about it being New Year, and I'm working on my self-discipline. So, doggone it. Yeah. Anybody out there? Anyway, I'm having a ball with viewers or not. I'm having fun just sitting here. Now, if it goes a little wiggly woggly and you get that little circle thing where it's buffering, I'm on the satellite. And the other week when was I doing that? Monday morning. Now, Monday morning, I was bragging about old Elon Musk. I do a little live stream on Monday morning for construction and safety professionals, or construction professionals. You don't have to be in safety. And I do that at 5 a.m. in the morning. And Buddy was giving me a good signal through the whole live stream. And I was bragging on Elon. And I'm sitting here looking at the stream strength right now, and it's bumped into poor several times now. I know that it's New Year's Day, and there's probably untold millions more right now who have been home all day and are watching their streams or watching their phones or doing whatever they're doing. So I can't complain too much. I used to have, it was called Windstream. And Windstream's, well, they were so bad. And then they sold out to Kinetic because their name was so bad. Nobody wanted to deal with Windstream. But guess what? Kinetic hasn't done a darn thing. They still just as bad. They just got a different name. And here's another government waste. I got to researching them old boys. And I think they're out of Oklahoma or Arkansas or someplace. And they received millions, tens of millions, hundreds of $1 million, part of that rural internetification, where they were trying to get internet services into the rural communities. Well, I can tell you right now, I'd call them up. And they had a script. It was pretty smart. They had a script. Oh, yeah, we need to reset your router. Okay, reset my router. Tell me what you're going. Well, your contract says 3 megabytes download. I said, what? 3 megabytes download? What's my upload? 0.5. I said, what? I got hooked up with old Starlink. Let me see if I can find that thing. Starlink. Let me just give Elon a shout out here. Oh, Elon and his Starlink. Here, let me run a speed test. Let's see. Speed test failed. Try again. You know what? I'm not on that darn crapola. Yeah, well, I'm on the wrong thing. I gotta go to Starlink Wi-Fi and, well, it doesn't say I even have Starlink. I know I'm getting, there she is. Let's see, SL2. I'm going to connect here. Now, let's go back and look. I've got a private internet or a private private network here in the office. Megabytes download 137. What is that? 70 times? What's 137 divided by 3? And 12 megabytes upload for the same money I was giving old Windstream or Kinetic. I called them up. I kept both systems going for a while because I really wasn't sure what kind of results I was getting from Starlink, and I was on their waiting list for a year. And I got real impressed real fast. And so the other one went out again, and I called them and I said, well, you have finally failed the last time with me. She goes, excuse me? I said, I am through with you. I no longer wish your service. Go ahead and disconnect it. And I'm not interested anymore. She goes, well, how about if we give you this? And it was a huge discount. And I said, I've been with you for 5 years. And you've never offered it before. But let me tell you what I've got now. And I gave her the numbers off of Starlink. I said, how can you compete with that? And she says, well, we can't. And I said, okay, so I guess our conversation is over. She said, but we'll give you a big discount. I said, lady, you don't get it. Anyway, time to break out and give out some shout outs. First responders, appreciate y'all being out there over the holidays and in the cold weather, helping out folks getting the accidents, people at home having medical emergencies. Thank you for getting out there and helping. I appreciate it. Teachers starting a new semester, bless your heart. You know, I got a almost 5-year-old grandson. And boy, he can wear me out. I could only imagine having a whole pack of them Rugrats in one room. Thank you, teachers. Yeah, our teenagers with the hormones going crazy. Thank you, teachers. It takes a special kind of person. Now, my daughter's in the educational field. She's what do you call them things? A counselor. She went and got a master's degree and all that stuff. And I'm like, whatever you want to do, baby. But, yeah, she's something else too. And the volunteers who didn't take a day off, like that preacher, man, you know, he was doing the right thing for holiday. He was in some rural part of America helping out children who might not have had a Christmas at all. Thank you for you guys getting out there and doing that. Makes me almost ashamed of myself. And you hunters especially, feeding families responsibly out there. You're harvesting game. You're managing the herd of deer, whatever. And then you pay for the processing and you're giving it to families to feed them. Thank you so much for doing that kind of thing. Here's a question for you tonight. What's one habit you're carrying into 2026 and the one you're leaving behind? I want you to drop that in the comments. Okay. Hey, also some pictures, send some pictures of harvest, of the creeks, the frost, the ridge lines. I want to see what part of the county that strikes you to your soul and you find beautiful enough that you want to take a picture. Send me a picture. I want to share it. And I want to do that. Also, let's not forget that we not only come here to take care of our families and protect the environment, and that whatever the mission statement is, you know the mission statement, but we also come here for resources. And I've had some success here. I was looking for, I could probably use some more. So if you've got some mulch hay for sale, some stuff it didn't, that last year's stuff, and you don't really want to feed it, or it got rained on or something like that, and you'd like to part ways with it, um, let's work out a deal. I can use some more of that around here come in the next month or so when I'm prepping the garden out there. I'd like to get some more of that mulch hay. I want a good fresh bed of that to be put down. Uh, if you've got firewood for sale, here's a place that we can drop something. We could help broadcast that and make sure that we help you sell your firewood. You got lumber, hardware, any kind of thing like that that you think somebody might have an interest in. Hell, you don't know. You don't know. Put it out there. Let's if you've got something you'd like to trade, we'll get it on here and we'll talk about it. And as long as you send me a message, say, hey, keep that tractor on here. I'm still trying to get rid of it. Or, hey, I've got that, still got that hay mulch. If you still got that, keep it on talk about it one more time tonight and let people know I got it. And that's what I'll do. I used to do that on the radio years and years ago. I'd be driving through the country and people would be selling sewing machine, trading. And I think that's a good thing to do. So let's do that kind of thing. Well, we're really running out of time here. If you need something too, post it. Like I said, I need some mulch hay. If you're a welder too, finally got me a disc from a disc harrow, and I want to make a discata out of it. You know, it's where you weld in that square hole and put a couple handles on it, and you cook over an open fire with it. You know, like a Latino wok, so to say. Ruta la Nueve. If you have a chance, check those guys out on the YouTube. I really like watching them guys cook up a meal. But let's remember, we're a community of like-minded people with common interest in hunting, fishing, protecting our community, our culture, our families, and the environment. We come here to exchange ideas, resources, and information. As the year opens and the cold settles in, remember, mountain strength isn't about toughness alone. It's about preparation, attention, and looking out for one another. Thank you for spending part of your evening here on the Rabun County Rag. And until next time, keep your boots dry, your fire steady, and your hearts grateful. And from Bubba, more than anything, I want you to have a grateful day. And we'll see you next time. And we're signing off from the mountains where the stories never freeze. Have a grateful day. And we'll see you next time.